Hey guys, welcome back to the Pine Box Perspective. Today I want to talk about something. I'm planning a sort of a scouting expedition, nothing major, probably a couple hours at the most. And I want to talk about the importance of doing things like that in your surrounding area. And also, I've got a couple pieces of gear that I want to include in that, just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm thinking about taking with me. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple, mostly just water and some personal protection and things like that. That wasn't meant to be funny, but anyway. All right, guys. So one of the main things that I wanted to take with me on this little scouting expedition, aside from my standard EDC, I've got my pocket knife. I've always got a pistol on me, so I'm going to take my wallet. I've got my permit. Especially doing something like this, I might unknowingly cross onto someone else's property. You never know what's going to happen. So typically, what I carry on me, and I know this from experience, I can take one of these little 32-ounce Nalgene water bottles, and I can do a 5-mile hike with that. And if I really, really want to take my time with it, I average about 3 hours, give or take, on a non-strenuous hike. I can get through with one of these, and I'm just running out of water by the time I get back to the truck. Used to take my dog and do that all the time on this one trail. It was 5 miles. And a lot of times I just carry this with me, and I'd throw it in a small backpack maybe, and just have my dog on a leash, and that was it. Maybe a pack of crackers, who knows. You could throw one of those in your shirt pocket. Now, if you want to look at it from like a survival standpoint, you might be thinking, well, you can't boil water, you can't do any of this or whatever. I don't want to overcomplicate this. I plan on hitting the creek, walking down, and that's it. If it happens to be really cold that day or whatever, or if you just want to get all doomsday scenario about it, you might want to take a little something you can make some instant coffee in maybe, or if you really want to go nuts, you can boil some rice. So, take some tuna, whatever. But anyway, my main thing is my normal EDC with some water. Maybe a snack, but like I said, guys, I'm not going to be gone that long. Now, when I delve into things like this, I tend to get pretty far into the aspects of gear and what they're capable of and everything. I'm going to tell you why I like these little, $12, $15 Nalgene bottles. You can't boil water in them, but it holds a good amount of water. This is, 32 ounces, so it's a liter. That's a quarter of a gallon. And these things, it's just plastic on plastic. You don't have to worry about an O-ring. These silicone O-rings that come in these clean canteens, I really like these things, but I'm going to tell you why I don't. The cap is slick and they go on pretty tight, and sometimes when the weather changes, they get even tighter, and they're kind of hard. You can't really get a grip on it. They got these stupid little, you can't really see it, I guess, but maybe you can. That little tab right there, you can grab that and pull that ring out and clean it. I don't have to do that with a plastic bottle. If you get a good one that doesn't leak on its own, you want to clean that out. You don't want bacteria in your stuff. So if you end up, something happens and you're there long term, you want to be able to clean your stuff. And these things are cool. You can boil water in this. You can do whatever. This one here, this is the half gallon or 2 liter. And this one failed on me, and I haven't used it as much as the small one, but I used to take this out on the canoe when we were fishing on the lake, and it just I took it out to clean it one day and it ripped. I just don't like that. I can't stand it. I think that Nalgene makes one that has like a big rubber O-ring, and that's better if you're able to access that, get it out, clean it out. So that's why I'm kind of partial to these things here, just because I don't have to worry about all that. I can brush it out, or I can put some baking soda in here and some distilled white vinegar, shake it up, and that'll create like a scrubbing action with the chemical reaction of the two. That's how I used to clean my water bladders out, the tubes and everything, when I used to use those early on. But getting to it, I've had this thing for a while, and it's been under the bed, it's been in the closet, it's been everywhere except what I intended it for, which was to put it in a bigger pack so that I could have my mess kit and water and everything with me. And this is the larger, I think it's 12.5 inch Maxpedition water bottle holder. And you know, initially I thought, well, this is really cool. I just recently got this shoulder strap for it and the pad, and that costed me close to 30 bucks before shipping or whatever. Really well made. You know, I'm sure it's worth the money, but it comes with this little strap already on it, and that's about all you can do with it. That's fully extended. You could tighten it up a little bit. You could throw it over your shoulder. It maybe, you know, if you want to kind of hang on to it. To me, if I could cinch this thing down to where it's like a tighter handle and it not have a bunch of excess strap hanging on it, Maxpedition gets a little strappy with some of their stuff. That's why, you know, I like the Pygmy Falcon 2 backpack so much. I've done a review on it because it doesn't have all that extra crap on it. But to me, this is something you kind of grab and you walk out to the truck with it, and that's it. It's slightly insulated. You know, it's kind of cushioned around there. But I want to show you some things that you could fit in here if you want to do like a little scouting thing or a small day out kind of thing. Now I've got this crammed in here for now just to bring all my stuff out here. Lifeboat food, and I've eaten one out of here just to try it. This is supposed to be all of your daily nutrients that you need for one day. There's 6 bars in here. It weighs a pound. This is what they put on lifeboats. This is SOS rations. You can look those up. I think this was about 10-12 bucks or something like that. I got a couple of them. This one actually knocked a hole in it, so I thought I'd take it out and try one. Now you could take these out and repackage them with some Mylar in your Mylar bags in your clothes iron if you wanted to do that, and maybe have like half a day. You know, so that's an option there. But this will fit in this larger bottle. They have another one that's like a 10-inch or 10.5, and those are meant for these smaller clean canteens. This is a 40-ounce. The Nalgene bottles are 32, but this one will actually accommodate the larger, the half-gallon. So I kind of like that. That's what I was trying to set up. And I've already done a review on how I set up the Stanley 2-cup system. I've got it down in here on top of a nesting cup. You know, I've got that packed in here. I'm just trying to get all my stuff together. So originally, like I said, this was supposed to be my entire kitchen that I could pull out of a pack. This thing takes up a lot of room without this added shoulder strap. It's kind of cool. It's got a pretty big pouch on the outside, and I'll show you how big it is. One thing that you can do with this front pouch is you can get an inside the waistband holster for a Glock 43, and you can fit that down in here with 2 extra magazines. Not much room left for anything else if you do that. So that's one option if you want to carry a pistol with you and you don't want to wear it on you for whatever reason. This is a pound of long grain jasmine rice. I've got that shoved down in here with 2 of these you know, little ready to go tuna packs. So if that gives you an idea how big this pouch is. And it does have these 2 little retention straps in here, like I said, if you want to strap a couple of magazines and then put your pistol and holster in front of that. So that might be an option. I think this is good for, like I said, just grabbing it and taking it with you, sort of like you would carry an old Stanley thermos kind of thing. It does have a drain port in the bottom. It's cool. It's really well made, and I like it, but I've never used it, and I don't know if I ever will, and I'm going to tell you why. So I got the strap and the extra shoulder pad that goes on the strap, and it's actually pretty comfortable for a shoulder strap. But my idea was, well, I could, you know, put my pistol on. I've already got my stuff in my pocket. I can get a hiking stick. I could throw a couple things in this. Maybe I could, you know, eat some tuna on the way on my little expedition and just go check some things out. These do fully swivel. But what I was going to do was just throw this over my left shoulder, because I might have a rifle going this way because I'm right-handed, so I could swing it up. Or if nothing else, it's out of the way of my sidearm. Now, this is actually not, it doesn't feel that bad. I thought it was kind of strange how it sits. It's elongated. You know, it's like a vertical kind of sit. And I've tried everything to get this thing to sit a different way so that it's more in line with the shoulder strap, and you can't do it. It would have to be hooked at the very top, and there's no option for that. there is this little keychain kind of clip right here. It just throws it off even more. It flops around on your back. And I've seen a lot of videos of guys setting these things up, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit there and have my arm over something like that. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. It's in the way. I want it behind me. I could do this if I had nothing else. If I didn't have a day pack or anything, I could go with this kind of setup. If I come across it and didn't have nothing, you know, I could make it work, obviously. Strap is wide. This is a 2-inch. They also have a 1.5. And the shoulder pad is pretty nice. It's like the pads on their backpacks. I can't remember how much this thing costs. I got it on a buy one, get one, and I sold the other one to a guy I worked with, so I got mine for free. He didn't know about it. But anyway, it really doesn't feel that bad. The way it is distributed, it kind of hangs straight down. It's pretty much out of the way. But typically, if I'm doing anything in the woods, I've got a large knife on my left side, and I've got my sidearm on my right side. It could maybe kind of bump the knife a little bit. It's probably not. But, you know, I tend to overthink things a little bit. I like to be comfortable, and that's why I do that. I'm really not excited about this setup. I'm just not. It just doesn't work for me. Even if it had a waist strap on it, I feel like I'm just kind of one-sided, especially if I had a half a gallon of water on one side. But, you know, for the little scouting trip that I'm planning here, which is really not a big deal, probably not going to be taking food, obviously. I plan to be back in like a few hours, probably 2 to 3 at the most. And I just don't need all this crap with me. But I did want to talk about this little pouch, because if you want to put this big bottle in here, you can do that. And you could take one of these cheap little GSI cups with the swing out arms on it, and you could put it over the lid, okay, and it will close. And then you could put some food in here, so if you want to start a fire and heat up some rice or ramen or whatever, you could totally do that. You got a little ham radio, you could clip it to the outside here if you wanted to and let it scan while you walk. But it's just not what I want to do. So one thing that I did notice though is you can take one of these little GSI, I think it's a Glacier cup, and if you take the lid off of your Stanley 2-cup cook set, it fits on there pretty good. So if you want to do a bale modification to this little pot and have like a, you know, a solo swinging bush pot, you could do that. And then it's got the ported holes in it, so you could drain your pasta, rice, whatever. But I'm probably not going to do that. I like to just have that cup on me in case I want some Kool-Aid, or if I want to heat up some instant coffee, you know, just kind of have that to drink. I could stir some noodles in here, just kind of cook it open. I've done it for years. There's probably better options out there. They say that when you swing a pot, you get more heat just above the flame than you do setting it right on the coals. And I mean, that's probably true, but you know, I'll typically set up like 2 or 3 rocks and build my fire under that, and maybe create like a little sort of a rocket stove under that. I've also set it directly on the coals. You do get some ash and debris in the top, so that's an option if you want to get one of these cheap little cups, and if you already had that, you'd have a lid for it. All right, moving on. So I don't like this. It's just not working for me. It's too big to be inside of a pack. It's too awkward to be by itself. Just not a fan. So one thing that I stumbled across is, well, I didn't stumble across it, we all know about them, these military issue canteens. I did not realize, I thought it was a pint, but it's actually a quart. So all the water you can fit in this Nalgene bottle will fit inside of one of these. The only thing that it doesn't have, and I'm going to make a modification to it, I'm going to take these little belt clips, you know, where you attach it to this sort of a Vietnam era, you know, military belt. I'd tried that in full of water and it was kind of awkward. You'd have to balance it out. They do have like double shoulder straps on some of these too, if you want to do that. My wife's been carrying her pistol on this out in the woods, you know, but I don't want my water on my hips. But anyway, this is the same as a Nalgene bottle, a standard one. I kind of like this because it's plastic and it does not have one of those sealable rings, you know, and all that. So now a lot of these, if I don't know if it's a newer style, but they have this weird kind of nipple that goes down from the lid in there, and it's got this little thing on top. I don't know if maybe that's for squeezing or drinking out of or what, I don't know. But I got this for 10 bucks, and this is awesome. It's pretty tough. You don't have the O-rings to clean, and of course it comes with it's got a little pouch on the outside if you want to put purification tablets or matches or whatever you want to put in there. It's not very big. You know, it's got the little swing out cup, military style, with the stove if you want to go that route. I thought this was kind of cool, and I got it for 10 bucks. There's a guy with a gun store in town that bought out a warehouse of Milsurp gear, and I got this for $10, and I also got something else for $10. These are cool. They've got that fuzzy insulation in it, and in the summertime you can dip this thing down in the water and then put your water in it, and it's supposed to help keep it cool. This is all stainless, nothing's going to rust. So for $10, I mean, you can't, the Nalgene bottle is a couple dollars more than that by itself. You can't beat this. So if you had if you rigged up a pouch, which is what I plan on doing, is taking the belt clips out of this, putting a couple of carabiners on here, and then maybe using that Maxpedition shoulder strap over my shoulder and just having that smaller bottle on my hip, and it could swing a little bit, you know, messenger bag style. Not a big deal. Probably keep it behind me a little bit. But anyway, I think this is probably a pretty good option for what I'm thinking about doing. And with the shoulder strap, you could get, you know, a smaller pouch from any company or Maxpedition, and kind of strap it on there if you want to put a little bit of food on there, if you want to cook something with that. For example, here is my Maxpedition Micro, and this is my fire kit. This is a little bit small for food, but you know, I could loop that over the strap and just kind of let it hang out right there above the water bottle, and I've got my little fire kit there. So that could be any number of things. A serving of rice, that jasmine rice, would be a 1/4 cup. You could seal that off in some Mylar and kind of do your own packaging or whatever. Take, you know, some tuna or whatever, and one not much bigger than this, like the mini pack, maybe would hold all that. If you want like one meal and enough water to get you through for a few hours. So that's one option. This I really like. I got this for 10 bucks too from the same guy. This is one of their larger. Now this is the same as the larger Clean Canteen. So they're both 2 quarts, 64 ounces, half gallon, however you want to look at it. This one had the clips on the inside too. I took them off because I'm going to be wearing it on my left side. It's going to be facing backwards. I'd rather it be this way. But it's got the little opening clip here. I don't want that riding on me. And it's got the little pouch if I wanted to put water purification tablets in that. So I don't want that on this side. So I'm going to have to face it backwards. But this one comes with a shoulder strap. And also this one you can dip down in the water when it's hot, keep it cool. So I can throw this thing over me. And I thought this was pretty neat, especially for 10 bucks. I mean, this is a steal. It doesn't have a stove and all that with it, you know, and a cup and everything. This is pretty comfortable, and you've got a half a gallon of water riding right here. And if you had a rifle this way, you know, you got your sidearm, everything's out of the way. You could, if you had a one of those U.S. military ponchos or USGI like the one I have, you have a shelter set up, and you could, you know, somehow package some food. You could do an easy overnighter with a shelter with that poncho. One cool thing about the ponchos, you could drape that thing over you if you just got stuck in a downpour and say you run out of water. Lean up against a tree or a rock or something and kind of sit Indian style. I thought of this morning. I was proud of myself. But sit Indian style and push that poncho down on your knees. You're in the dry, but you know, you're catching water between your legs. So then you could take that and pour it into a container. And fresh rainwater, I mean, there may be some pollution in there, who knows. It depends on how liberal you think, I guess. But I think that'd be a pretty good option too. You could somehow fashion away on this strap. So these shoulder straps, you can do whatever you want with them. I mean, you could put something on there, the safety pin, if you wanted to. It's up to you. You know, we get too caught up in having everything neat and packed away, and that's my problem. You know, I've got all these bags with all these straps and things like that, and at the end of the day, this stuff just kind of gets in the way. Like, this was made to really kind of go on the side of one of these bags, but it's not going to hold tight, and it's going to be in the way of my compression straps. It's too big to go on the inside, So, you know, I'm trying to simplify my stuff. But anyway, this half-gallon thing here, so you just pop your little clip, and I think this one was from like 1991 or something. Now this is basically a bladder. It's not hard, it's soft, but this is made to submerge, and it's got instructions inside the flap here. Kind of tells you how to do it. It says carry it under your parka or poncho in the wintertime to kind of help keep the water from freezing. So if you find yourself in Russia, you carry water on you, it's going to freeze on you. You know, maybe that's something you could do. In the summertime, like I said, dip this down in water. It'll help kind of keep it cool. But it's pretty soft and kind of pillowy. But that is if you just want to grab some water and go. Grab a rifle and some water and go. You've got a half-gallon here. And I'm big on larger water storage. I get by with the 32 ounces, the 1 quart. I know my limitations, but I drink a lot of water. I carry a Coleman 1 gallon cooler every day to work with the drinking spout on it. And I go through, I've got about an inch left usually after an 8-9 hour day of working. So that, you know, I drink a ton of water. And that's why I like to keep it on me all the time. Now, you know, I can ration that out and have a little bit of restraint and make it last a little bit longer. But anyway, guys, these are some of the options that I wanted to bring out. And like I said, let me know if you guys have any better ideas. I know, you know, Dave Canterbury and the Pathfinder School, they've got all that stuff. They've got the military style stainless steel and all that. And that, it is good to be able to boil water in something that you could just let cool off and put the lid on it and go. I get that. But I don't like the failures that could happen with the O-rings. And I don't like the fact that you got to take them out, clean them and all that. Well, I don't have to worry about with this. Now with this water bladder here, you know, I'm going to go a long time with that. You know, I've spent a day on the canoe with the other one. Typically I have a gallon of water on me when I go do something comfortable, but if I'm walking, this would probably be about the most amount of water I would carry on my person, unless it was my job to go down to the creek, get water and bring it back and purify it. In which case, a couple of these, you know, would make your trip not so bad. But anyway, I think, you know, the verdict is in for me. For the money, the best bargain is this military style. I mean, this thing looks like it's been hardly used. It may have been never used. There's no burn marks on it. I mean, yeah, I've cleaned it, but there's some bugs in there. But man, all you need is, you know, like a spork and maybe some food, and you've got some water and a little bit of food and a way to cook it and everything. And if you had a poncho, I mean, you're set up for an emergency overnight. So, but what we're talking about is a scouting expedition. So I think what I'm going to do is somehow rig up a shoulder rig for the little military canteen. And I'm just going to go with that. Because this other stuff, man, we're getting too complicated. Stuff's getting too fancy. I got a plane interrupting the video here. Sorry about that. But anyway, guys, hope this maybe gives you guys some ideas, or gives you some ideas to give back to me, because you know, I'm planning on doing this maybe next week if I can, and hopefully I can take you guys with me if I can figure out how to do that and record it and everything. And if we have any run-ins with some neighbors that I don't know, you might get a glimpse of that too. Well, anyway, that's all for now, guys. Pine Box Perspective, and I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, one thing I forgot to mention real quick, while you're scouting and you're looking for resources, foraging material, things like that. See these beech trees? This is a beech tree. It's got a slick bark with little discolorations on it. They're everywhere. Not really good for much, but these leaves are on here, and they're like paper, and they are on the tree year round. As you can see, it's March. They've been here, and they will be here until new ones produce. Excellent fire starting material. So one thing to keep in mind. All right, guys, get out there, get at it.